Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism. Well, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about navigating around deceptive spirits. So what do I mean by deceptive spirits? These are spirits that typically will try to manipulate you and even masquerade as other spirits. I started coming across them more frequently when I started to get seriously into trying to contact departed loved ones and other spirits that might be helpful in some of the work that I do. It became apparent that this is actually a thing, and I had to learn how to deal with it. So what are some of the things, the behaviors that a deceptive spirit might try to do? Well, one is flattery. If you come across an entity trying to flatter you, to try to make your ego big, maybe talk about how attractive you are, or how strong you are, or complimenting you on your psychic powers and magical abilities and all these types of things, that is a red flag. While I believe spirits can support you and encourage you, there's a point where, okay, it's being a little too much, and you have to be kind of aware of the flattery. Also, if you're working with the spirit and they try to make some type of side deals with you, hey, if you work with me, then you will have all of these wonderful things, and your life will turn around, and you'll have the prettiest partner, and you'll make tons of money, and all these types of things. That's another red flag. You'll start to notice that if you start to see these things in human beings too, it's also a red flag. So think about, okay, if this was a human being, a person telling me these things, how would I handle it psychologically? Would I have my guard up a little bit? And usually the answer is yes. So flattery and big promises. Another one would be some type of unusual behavior. What I mean is, let's say that you're trying to contact some loved ones, maybe your departed grandfather, grandmother, parents, whoever. And so there's this a spirit that comes along and says that they're this loved one, and that you communicate with them, let's say over a period of time, a matter of days, maybe weeks, and you start to notice that they don't quite act like your loved one while they were alive, doesn't have some character traits and some personality quirks aren't there. Most likely this is a spirit pretending to be your loved ones. I find this when I started to encounter all this, I found it quite annoying. Now it's just, it's almost like part of the game, as they say. They come to me sometimes, and I can quickly discover that they're not who they say they are. And, once I call them on it, they'll usually, go away. Also, if they want fast favors. Okay, so the spirit comes to you and, saying that they're this high-level spirit or a loved one, and then within 5 minutes of the conversation they want you to do something, commit some type of act, give an offering, do something like that. That is a major red flag. Spirits are here, your loved ones that loved you while you were alive. If you had a good relationship with them, they're not going to ask for that type of thing. High-level spirits that come to you that you might want to work with aren't going to ask for that type of thing. It's going to be these mischievous little spirits lurking around that may have noticed you in meditation. They may have been observing you and know that you communicate with spirits. They're attracted to that because they know that they could possibly get something from you, or they could mess with you or try to mess with you. They have their reasons for doing that, which I'll discuss in a minute. So let's get into it. Why trickster spirit. Oh, why? Well, to trickster spirits, they walk, in the spirit world undetected. They can go and observe things. They can do things on minimal levels of influence. But not everybody is like you, meditating and trying to communicate. So they're used to being able to walk undetected, and they feel like because they can do that, they can somehow get over. It's like the invisible man, who tries to sneak into the girl's shower or something like that. These trickster spirits these deceptive spirits aren't particularly wise in a lot of ways. So in some ways you might find them to act kind of like children. Children who have, because they're in the spirit world, they have certain abilities for some people that they can be, manipulative and carry out some of the things they like to do. Also, why do they do it? Is that they may be attracted to you in some way. For example, if you're somebody that maybe thinks about dark things, maybe do some dark magic, you might attract some of these dark spirits who have this playful nature. That's a possibility. It may feel like you're a kindred spirit. Third possibility is that they could be testing you. Why not? From their perspective, they're in the spirit world. They've chosen not to move on. They kind of like the realm that we're at. So why not? It's like their own personal playground. So they go and just kind of do stuff. Another reason why they might come around is that everybody, just by being born and embodied in human form, that we all have trauma imprints, maybe some characteristic imprints. In other words, we have some flaws in our psyche, and through that, certain spirits are attracted to that, especially if you have some unresolved abuse issues, sexual, physical, serious problems with anger, anxiety. These spirits can be attracted to that energy. Some of them even try to feed on it. So they could be coming to you in that way, and in some ways, like I said, they may pretend like they're somebody that they're not. So what do you do about all this? Because it is kind of can be a pain dealing with them. Well, one is that you identify them. Those are some of the red flags, that I mentioned earlier. So once you identify them, you can send them away. You have, because you are a part of the divine, you can send them away based just on your will and through your own, the authority of your world. Just through your will, it's enough to kind of send them away, or at least discourage them from interacting with you. So you need that discernment too, to be able to identify them, of course. The way that I identify them, and this may not be your way of identifying them, and I'll give you an example of how one, or actually a couple different occasions, came to me. I was doing a ritual to Hecate, and I had my candles, I had all of my offerings, and I had things on top of the offerings to symbolically suggest that until Hecate arrives, that those offerings are not to be messed with, they're not to be used, and I even set that intention around it. Okay, so here's a spirit that comes around and claims to be Hecate and trying to talk with me as if it was her, and asking for the offerings. Well, I know well, by dealing with this particular goddess, that she has a particular energy, a very forceful energy that is unmistakable. And I'm not feeling it from this spirit, because you can sense all of that in your energy field. When I encounter Hecate, I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10 as being the most intense that I could feel spiritually, which would be something when I encounter an archangel, 8, 9, 10, where just by being near you, it could take your breath away, literally. She's probably somewhere around maybe a 6. This spirit came to me was about a 1. It's about lowest. I could feel it, but it was very, very low. So no, I wasn't having it, and I wasn't giving up the offerings. So what happened, the way the story went, was she arrived because I just had done an evocation. Unmistakably, it was her, and her presence just cleared that spirit out. Had no choice before I even had a chance to order it away. You, as a magician or as a spiritualist or someone who practices necromancy, has the ability to do all of these things just with your will. So that's basically it. It is almost kind of par for the course that you will encounter some of these spirits, but you don't have to entertain them. You have serious work to do in whatever ritual or contact that you are trying to do, and they don't need to mess with you. Alright, that's it for today. This is Mark Henry, and please subscribe and like, and I will see you later.